Yohana and Frisca. Yohana and Frisca. We're gonna talk about grammar. Hey, welcome back with me, Yohana and
Frisca.
and we're gonna talk about
Grammar.
Alright.
Well, we're gonna talk about noun clause and adjective clause.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what is noun clause?
Yeah. But before that, it will help you to make it your sentences become more smarter. Well,
Oh, really?
yes. we can try.
Okay.
It's easy. Okay. So, what does noun clause mean?
So noun clause is a dependent clause that functions as a noun. And a noun clause can be a subject or an object of a
Really?
sentence.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So there are three consist components. What are they, Johanna?
So a noun clause consists relative pronoun or adverb.
Yes.
And as I said before, as a subject, it has subject and it has a verb. So it's just like normal sentence has like subject and verb. But the different noun clause can be a subject or an object for like a big sentence, you know. So noun clause is just like a short sentence. Can be a subject or an object of a big sentence.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the last one is a verb.
Yeah.
You need verb there.
Yeah. Okay. So three kinds of noun clauses. What are those?
That, if or whether, and question clauses. For example, who, what, when, where, or how.
Okay. So these things like marker for noun clauses. So that, if or whether, or who, what, where, when, or how, you can find them in noun clause, or you can use it for a noun clause as your marker. Okay, so there are some functions of noun clause. The first one is noun clause as an object. Subject. I'm sorry, as a subject. So, for example, what he did was wrong. So what he did is a noun clause, but it's also a subject of the sentence. So usually subject, like noun clause as a subject, comes at the beginning of the sentence because it's a subject.
It's a
so
subject.
usually comes in the beginning. And the second example is that I need money is true.
Yeah.
It is
She needs
true.
money. Yeah.
So yeah, that I need money is a noun clause, and it's also a subject of the sentence. So you can see the marker here, what, and the marker here, that,
which is necessary to use.
yeah, for noun clause.
Okay. Yeah. Go to the next slide.
The next slide.
It's a noun clause as an object. So, what are the examples? Is Frisca cares what people think about her. So, like Johanna said before, if subject always comes first, then the object always comes after subject.
After verb.
After verb.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah. The verb is cares. So it says what people think about her is a noun clause. It's an object of the sentence.
Yeah, because it received the action of
Cares itself.
of cares. Yes. And what's the second example? Can you tell me?
She still loves where she used to live in. So where she used to live in is a noun clause. It's an object of the sentence. And it's received the action of loves itself.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Just kidding. Okay, so yeah. So where she used to live in is a noun clause, and it received the action of
Loves itself.
yeah. So it become an object of the sentence. And the third one is noun clause as a complement. So this is kind of different with noun clause as an object because it doesn't receive the action, but it comes after be. So this noun clause
What is be?
always comes after be. So be like contains is, are, were, was, am. So if you found that be in the sentence, then after that be is a noun clause. So it means that noun clause function as a complement. So, for example, the problem is they don't have money to travel the world. So they don't have money to travel the world is a noun clause, and it's also a complement for the problem is. Okay, and the second example is the doctor is the one who wear white. So it's a complement for the doctor is. So it's a noun clause. So it's a noun clause as a noun
It's a complement
clause as
of
a
the
complement
sentence.
of the sentence.
Yes. Okay. The next slide is a subjunctive noun clause. So it's an important word or so it's a strong word to emphasize something such as which is important, urgency, etc. So for the example is my teacher insisted that we study harder for the final test. So like you see here, insist is over here. It's mean that you don't have to. You should, could, or might, or something like that. So it's really you can omit those words. So the word after insisted you can.
Yeah. So the word after that you can omit. So you can use like my teacher insisted that we should study harder for the final test, but because the sentence itself use the word of insisted, which is already emphasized the sentence. So we can omit the words of should, the words of could, or something like that. And the second one is my parents urge that I call them as soon as possible. So my parents urge. So urge is already emphasized that this is really urgent. Yeah. So you can also omit the word should. So my parents urge that I call them as soon as possible. So it's like make it more effective when you say it or when you use it without should. So it still makes sense.
And here's examples of stress word. It's a verb.
Yeah, so there are some words that you can use as a subjunctive noun clause. For example, is advise, insist, ask, command, direct, recommend, request, require, propose, or urge, demand, suggest, order, or prefer. And also, it's not only verbs, but some adjectives you can use for subjunctive noun clause as well. So there are advisable, desirable, essential, important, mandatory, necessary, urgent, and vital. So the next we're gonna talk about
Adjective clause. So it's a dependent clause that, like an adjective, modifies a noun or pronoun or relative adverb. It's a dependent clause, right?
Yeah. So it's a dependent clause that modifies noun or pronoun or relative adverbs in a sentence.
Great.
So relative pronouns and adverbs. We mentioned it before. So adjective clauses begin with pronouns,
Which is
so these are the markers who for subject or object, whom for and whose, and this all refers for people. And which.
What about the animal?
Yeah, which and that refer to the animal or thing.
Sorry, yeah. And then the last one is relative adverb.
Relative adverb.
Oh, sorry, Yohana.
So relative adverb, you can use when or where that refer to time or place.
Oh, okay. Restrictive and non-restrictive. What is restrictive clauses? So it's an adjective clause that is essential to the meaning of a sentence because it limits the thing it refers to. So when it's restrictive, you don't need to use comma in there.
Yeah, because this restrictive clause actually the adjective clause, it's essential. So it's an essential information. If you omit it, if you delete it, it will change the meaning, the real meaning of the sentence. So for example, all students who do their work should pass easily. So if you omit who do their work, it will be all students should pass easily. So it changed the meaning of the sentence. Yeah. And also, the car that I want is out of my price range. So this is also if you omit the adjective clause that I want, it will be the car is out of my price range. So the meaning is like the car in like generally, but if you put that I want, the car that I want is out of my price range, so it tell you specifically that the car, which one car that I want.
Which word that I want?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh well. Non-restrictive.
Okay. Non-restrictive clause. It's an adjective clause that adds extra or non-essential information to a sentence. So this adjective clause actually it doesn't matter if you put it or not because it won't change the real meaning of the sentence itself. So you can either omit it or you can put it. Yeah.
Either way.
Matter. Either way, it's just the same. Okay. So for example, Frisca, who loves play ukulele, is an Indonesian student.
What if I just take off comma from that sentence?
Take off comma? No, you can't take off that comma.
We can't? Okay.
Yeah, because who loves play ukulele, actually it doesn't important. I'm sorry, Frisca, it doesn't important.
Yes.
So Frisca, who loves play ukulele, is an Indonesian student. So if you omit that who loves play ukulele, if you don't put it, so it's just still have the same meaning. So Frisca is an Indonesian student.
That's the fact.
Yeah, that's the fact.
And the extra information, who loves play ukulele, is not necessary.
It's not necessary. Sorry,
no, it's necessary. That's all right. The second one.
Yes. Indonesia, that led by a president, is a country in Southeast Asia.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So that led by a president, if you don't put it in a sentence, it doesn't matter and it won't change the real meaning of that Indonesia is a country in Southeast Asia. So yeah.
Just don't put the extra information.
So it's non-restrictive adjective clause. Okay. Some notes from restrictive and non-restrictive clause.
A restrictive clause is necessary to identify its antecedent. So like Yohana said before, we don't need to use comma if its subject is not specific.
Yeah.
And the next one is non-restrictive clause. It gives the reader extra information about it, like what we said before that there is extra information, but if we don't use that information, it doesn't change the meaning of the sentence. And the third one is that is used in restrictive clause, but not in non-restrictive clause. So you can tell that you always find that in restrictive, but not in non-restrictive. And the last one is which can be used in non-restrictive clause, but can be used in restrictive clause. So those two are important. You can mark them, you can tell them which one is non-restrictive and which one is restrictive.
Yeah. And in restrictive clause, it contains who and that for people, if it's refer to people. And non-restrictive who, and non-restrictive contains who, and also it's refer for people. And restrictive clause that refer for animals and things, we can use that. And for non-restrictive, we can use which.
Well, function of adjective clause.
Function of adjective clause. What is that, Frisca?
Oh, it's an adjective clause that modifies subject. So there is a formula that we can use. We only need be and verb.
Yeah. So just looking for be and verb right after the marker. So just for example, eat healthy, which is found more popular among elderly, start to be a habit in millennial life too. So which one is the marker, Frisca? Can you show me?
Which?
Okay. How about the subject?
Eat healthy.
Okay. So can you find be and verb after the marker?
Be will be is and the verb is will be. It will be found.
Yeah. So it's obvious, yeah? Obvious that after marker, which we find is and found. So is be and found is verb. So yeah, it modifies subject. Yeah, because it's explaining about eat healthy.
What is eat healthy all about?
Yeah.
The second one, adjective clause modifies object. So like the first one, we have formula too for this adjective clause. We only need noun and noun. Noun plus noun. What is that?
Yeah. So this is kind of different with this adjective clause modify subject because we need to find noun or antecedent before the marker and after the marker as well. So, for example, Sisterly is a teacher whose hair is black, loves to wear something cute. Is it true, Sisterly? Oh yeah, never mind. Okay, so Sisterly is a teacher. So a teacher is a noun and comes after the marker whose. And after the marker, we find another noun, which is hair. So noun plus noun. So it means
Adjective clause
modifies object because it modifies a teacher. Yeah.
It comes before and after marker.
It explains about a teacher. Okay.
Next one.
Okay, the next one. Adjective clause as an object of a verb. Yeah, so it's just the same, yeah. Yeah. So this is another example. Yeah. So this girl, the girl whom I saw was crying. Yeah. This is another example of object of a verb.
Yes.
And the next is adjective clause as an object of preposition. So preposition is like tell about position.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
like about, add on, and
those
in.
are
Preposition.
Preposition words. Yeah. So for example, here is a bench that you can sit on. So the word on, it explain the position. Yeah. So you can sit on the bench. Yeah. He is the man that I was talking about. So I was talking about. Yeah, there's about. You can see as a preposition as well. And I can't believe that she is in grade 5. So
Preposition.
Another preposition that you can use for adjective clause. So I think it's already clear, yeah? Okay, so the next.
Okay. The next one is possessive adjective clause.
Yeah.
What is possessive?
Possessive, it means you own something. Yeah, the ownership of something. So I have this ukulele. Oh, you cannot see, but I have this ukulele. Well, actually, I borrow it. So yeah, for example, I met the young man.
His wallet was stolen.
So two sentences. Yeah, I met the young man, and the second sentence says his wallet was stolen. So if you make it as an possessive adjective clause, you can say or you can write, I met the young man whose wallet was stolen. So the word whose, it explains about the ownership. And this is the important thing, that whose, the word whose or the marker, you cannot omit it because it will change the meaning. The meaning. So just for example, I met the young man, wallet was stolen. So was it make sense?
No.
No, yeah. So you need to put that whose
As
in the
the ownership.
sentence. Okay? Got it? Okay. Next.
It's an adjective clause of place. So we have these things. It's important. We use to explain the place. We use where to explain this adjective clause.
Yeah. So because it's explained about place, so we can use where.
Then we don't need to include preposition here.
Yeah, because you already put where on it.
For example, his house is very small. The
They
second.
live in three and there.
So, for the first example, the house in which they live in is very small. Oh, sorry, that's mistaken, but you don't have to put in there.
Yeah. I don't know who's putting it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think that was a computer error.
Yeah, just don't mind this, okay? The second one is the house where they live is very small. See, you don't have to put preposition here. What? Oh.
Okay. The next is adjective clause of time. Oh wait, so many, yeah. Okay, so adjective clause of time. So we use it to describe the exact time. Yeah, not exact time, just to describe a time in a sentence. So we can use the marker is which. Yeah. So there are two words. I will never forget the day I met you then on that time. Okay. And we can put I will never forget the time on which I met you, or I will never forget the time when I met you. Not love you, yeah. Okay. Okay. And yeah, and also you can say I will never forget the time that I met you. So you can either use which or that, or I will never forget the day I met you. Yeah, you can omit the words which or that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think.
Oh, that's all for today.
That's the last slide in our
Presentation.
So we're gonna close with.
Well, thank you, Heine. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening, Yohana and Frisca in the house.